In this video training, we discuss how you can navigate various service delivery challenges within the working environment you are in. If you think you're going to open an optometry practice, get very nice looking frames, have an amazing layout, work with the best possible team, and have experience increasing revenue sales without ever going through various challenges, then you must be out of your mind. Delays, mistakes, wrong orders, and many other controllable and uncontrollable obstacles and challenges may arise at any given point in time. That means the practice must be in a position to deal with all kinds of problems. The true test, though, of a business that esteems itself as one that offers great service delivery is how it deals with problems when they arise. I don't know can never be something that comes out of the practice's mouth or any person in the team. Your practice needs to have well-defined problem-solving processes and systems that it follows every single day. So you can't wait for problems to get there. You need to be in a position where you as a team have sat down together and discussed that, wait a minute, these are the potential problems that might arise within our working environment. And so if this happens, how do we go about fixing it? And who is responsible for fixing it? So in this video training, we will just give you an example of problem-solving processes that you can be aware of, that you can start implementing within your optometric practice. Let's look at the first one, appointment no-show, which is something that can happen quite often. The courses, perhaps there was no reminder. Solution, appointment reminders before the day, 20 recalls a day, perhaps that you need to be doing, confirm optical benefits beforehand. There's a list of solutions, but what we recommend regarding appointments is as follows, actually. Know your people. That's why we highlighted the category placement card on our previous training videos that we spoke about. And what it does is that when someone makes an appointment online, for example, if you have an online appointment booking system and they make an appointment online, it's very important, and even if the system automatically updates that, it's very important that as a practice, you don't wait for that person to come on the day. You check that, wait a minute, this is Babankos, who has been with the practice for the last 6 years, and this is his 4th visit to the optometric practice. You check, Babankosi is on a particular medical aid. So when you send confirmation to Babankos, you need to then check that, wait a minute, let's communicate with Babankos. Babankos, are you still using the same medical aid? Babankosi, would you mind if we check your benefits beforehand so that when you come for your appointment, all that process, the administrative part has been solved? Babankosi, your details, are they still the same? I find it very surprising that a lot of times optometric practices will get someone who has been coming to the practice for a very long time, making their appointment is confirmed. Then when they get there, they still want to go through confirmation of patient information details, medical aid benefit checking. Why do you wait for the last minute? I mean, you already know that this person is on a particular medical aid. This person's details might have changed. Why don't you do that process way before that person comes to the appointment? You can even take it a step further. When this person has been ordering from the practice, buy one, get one free all the time, why don't you check what product range has Babankosi been ordering from? Or is it vary? Is he always getting branded pair of glasses? Have we spoken to him about an upgrade? Or is he always upgrading from the previous management solution that was recommended? Does he always go with what we're recommending, or is he always going with what he can afford? So you have to look at all of that and have that readily prepared so that when Babankosi comes to the appointment, all that is in place. So if he doesn't show up for the appointment, you are in a position to then make sure that you are following up with him more effectively. To say, Babankosi, I see you did not make it for your appointment. Can we reschedule your appointment tomorrow or whenever you suggest it? So you don't ask them when can you reschedule the appointment. You propose an alternative day to say, Babankosi, we just have an opening tomorrow. Perhaps tomorrow will suit you. So direct them to where you want them to go. Don't wait for them to tell you when they will come. You lead them to where you want them to go. So another thing with your contact lens patients, your patients order a 90 pack that came with the 30 pack because it was a promotion that was running, or they will just order a 30 pack, or they are on monthlies. You have to have on your computer software or system your contact lens catalog of patients that profiles who is wearing contact lenses, when they order their contact lenses, when they're due for their new orders, and don't wait for the consumer to be the one placing the order for their contact lenses. So set patient reminders. If you have effectively communicated with consumers in terms of their wearing schedules regarding their contact lenses, and you have a clear indication as to when they're wearing those contact lenses, it's very important that before the contact lens that you prescribed completes or finishes, you are the one reaching out to the consumer to get in touch with them by saying your contact lens order reorder is due. Do you want us to place it for you? And have that conversation with the consumer from the time you're prescribing contact lenses to them the very first time. Set the tone. Why are you waiting for them to be desperate to get their contact lenses? They're going away. Now they're calling the practice a day before to say, can I get my -3, X175? I mean, with a still of -225, X180, and you know that's going to be on back order from the contact lens company. And they're putting you under pressure, and now it makes it look as if you are incompetent. You are, because you should have been the one who got in touch with them way in advance. So you have to actually have a category placement or document of some sort that details exactly who your contact lens patients or consumers are, and you are the one who places their orders for them. You are the one who's doing the reminders. The other thing, recalls. Always do minimum 20 recalls a day. So even if you're doing 20, or let me change that statement. The thing about recalls is that this sending of a text or an email is not as effective as you think it is. You need to, every time people come to your practice, ask them, what method of communication do they prefer you communicating them with? You can send it via WhatsApp, you can send it via email, text, whichever platform that you use, those that you are calling. It's so important that you understand that people that have been with you for years, why are you not picking up the phone and calling them versus just sending a reminder to someone who has been with the practice for the last 10 years? Make the recall personal. It has to be clear that you care so much about that individual. So when you are giving that staff member a list of people to contact or send messages to regarding the recalls, those are just not numbers. Those are people. So people connect with people, not numbers. So if you just sending text messages and you think that it's connecting, and those people are not showing up for their appointments, they're going elsewhere. So make sure that you know how to connect, to communicate with your various consumers. And so if you're doing 20 calls a day, how many of those were quality recalls? And so the point I'm making is that your recalls now need to be quality. Would you accept the recall that you are doing? If you were a patient somewhere else or a consumer somewhere else, would you accept the recall that you are doing? If the answer is no, why do you then do it that way? What would speak volume to you with regards to a recall? And so that's basically different suggestions, solution strategies that you can implement pertaining to appointments within the optometric practices. So here's the thing that you need to remember. Patients are very skeptical about eye examination. So when they make their appointments, don't focus too much on the spectacles that they might need. Rather, outline processes involved in the examination procedures and wide range of possible management solutions that can be employed in solving their visual-related concerns. Customers, on the other hand, whether existing or new, have preconceived ideas about what they need. Is it working or not? Should they be coming to you in the first place or go elsewhere? And so what would be different this time for them coming to you for their visual related problems and overall experience versus them going elsewhere? So your job in securing the appointment is to distinguish yourself as the ultimate value provider to everyone concerning their visual needs. So always think that patients have skepticism regarding if I go to the optometrist, they're going to give me spectacles whether I like it or not. So once you have settled that pertaining to educating the patient to say, your appointment involves the following. This is what we're doing. This is what could be the potential solutions. And in mentioning those potential solutions, highlight, it's not always about spectacles. Then that registers in their mind. So then they come with that thing of, okay, you guys are going to be looking at what my problem is and are going to find a solution for it. And there will be different management solutions pertaining to the problem or problems that I have. Whereas customers, especially those who have not been with you for a long time, maybe they came once before or they've been wearing glasses for a long time but from another practice, they have got that preconceived ideas about optometric practices, service delivery. So your goal is to ensure you are exceeding expectations. You are doing that which has never been done before to them. The best way to do that is ask them a simple question. How was their overall experience with their previous optometrist? Or even if they came to you, how was the experience last time? So that you are in a position to exceed expectations. Then clients, they will treat the appointment as a by the way kind of thing if they see the practice treating it as a by the way. So those examples in terms of how do you approach an individual babankosi pertaining to when they're making the appointment, follow that with every single client. All right, next problem, delayed jobs. For example, it could be lab challenges, not ordering on time, over-promising time frames. That one, very, very shocking how many practices don't take that seriously. They over-promise and are always under delivery. And so you are always, here's the thing about it, is that always call the consumer before they call you, never the other way around. So certain consumers give you the indication from the onset in terms of when they're expecting their glass. And if you are not using an online ordering system, for example, where you can check and follow up with that particular order, you better pick up the phone and call the lab if necessary. Take responsibility. So don't just react to the situation when it's there. Make sure that any form of delayed jobs, you are constantly communicating with the consumer well in advance. And if someone indicates to you that they need this pair of spectacles or contact lenses on a particular day, and there's a 7-day period between when they came to the practice and the time that they need their pair of spectacles, you should not be targeting 7 days. You should be targeting 4 days. And pick up the phone, call the lab, even if you're utilizing the online ordering system. So if I spend 11,000 rands in your practice, and I'm already telling you that I need these glasses in the next 5 days because I'm traveling, and you're going to tell me the day before that there's a delay, that is unacceptable. So I would rather have a situation where you are constantly communicating with me, you put in the lab under pressure as best as you possibly can, so that if there is some form of delay, you have kept in touch with the consumer at every single stage of it. That is better than them having to follow up on the job. And so some points of discussions that we can think of here, you need to establish a very good working relationship with your lab if you don't have an on-site lab facilities. If possible, know the lens or producing time frames so that you can correlate your job orders with theirs when placing orders. So if you know that certain jobs go through a certain process, it's very easy to know that. Your team needs to know that. If you are an optometrist watching this, discuss with them, communicate with them that, guys, these are the type of prescriptions that are not going to be ready in 2 days. These are the type of prescriptions that will only be ready in 7 days. So the team needs to be comfortable and confident in knowing those or that type of information so that when they're communicating with consumers, they are in a position to be confident in their communication. So never set unrealistic expectations to the consumer that you have no control over. Remember, convenience and efficiency in your delivery service as a whole go a long way in securing a potentially fruitful relationship with the consumer. Understand the type of consumer you're dealing with on every single order that you make. Never promise something that you cannot deliver on, and make sure that you always deliver on that which you promise. It's important, it's imperative that you understand that. And that's how you effectively manage a particular individual. Let's say you've got a situation with regards to an incorrect order or a change in prescription. It might be refraction difficulties, systemic or pathology related matters, a wrong order that was placed. Take responsibility fully and make the consumer aware that you are taking charge of the situation. Be clear on the financial implications, if any, that might exist. Perhaps a particular individual ordered a particular product, but that product, a particular anti-reflective coating, is not necessarily the right one for the individual needs. And now you have to upgrade them. Have that conversation with them that this might involve us having an upgrade from a financial point of view for you to get the product that you need. And very, very important that the team is constantly trained on the standard operating procedures within the practice. And training is a continuous process which happens over and over again, pertaining to various processes, and systems and protocols within the practice. So the question that I have for you is that within the practice, is there are standard operating procedures and manual that governs everything within the practice, not a rule book, a manual for excellence. That's basically what it is, a manual for excellence. So communication with all parties involved needs to take place promptly as possible, and all discussion points need to be clearly understood by everyone pertaining to the incorrect order or change in script. Never play the blame game in front of each other. That's the worst thing you can do. If something goes wrong, delayed order, incorrect order, any of that, never play the blame game. Whoever is encountering that problem with the consumer at that particular time, even if you are not the one responsible for it, take responsibility, sort out the matter. When it's just the team together, that's when you can play, do all the bickering, fight amongst each other, do whatever that you want to do, but never do it in front of the consumer. Very, very important. Never do it in front of the consumer. And when you have given value to a particular consumer, it's easier to handle any form of challenge that might arise. That's very, very important for you to understand. Let's say you've got delayed contact lens orders. Like we made the example of earlier on with regards how you must actually be following up with your contact lens orders. Remember, contact lens patients wait, or consumers wait until the very last minute to place their orders. So our problem is going to arise? Yes. Our delay is going to come? Yes. It's obvious because of their behavior regarding ordering. So always, sometimes it could be delays from a supplier point of view. Something's on back order. You're not informing the consumer of possible delays. So communication is very, very effective. So some points of discussion here that are important for you to understand. Category consumer placement for the contact lens wearers is critical from the onset. Don't approach contact lens wearers the same way that you do spectacle wearers, especially if they've been wearing lenses for a while. You already know that most of them will wait for the very last minute or for the contact lenses to run out before coming to you to place their order that they need tomorrow. So have a clear list of people that need contact lenses. Establish the ordering cycle for each wearer and try to get to a point in your business where you can place the orders for them in advance. We can help you do that as a company. We have done that with various optometric practices that we work with within the optometric practice. And so get the contact lens procedures, communication, etc. right from the onset, from the time that that individual starts wearing contact lenses, and set the tone, set the standard, because then that becomes the way in which they will do things going forward pertaining to contact lenses. And the other thing, poor service delivery. If there's poor service delivery within the practice, pertaining to maybe staff incompetence, whether you're going to be tracing exactly what occurred and whatever it is, own up to the problem and take full responsibility of the situation. Consumers are interested in one thing only. Will the matter be resolved, and how long will it take to get it solved? That's it. Also remember, which I mentioned earlier on, always get in touch with the consumer first, never the other way around. And so you have to understand that problems will be there, but when the entire team is well prepared to handle the different situations that might arise, success is still guaranteed. Preparation increases the team's capacity to effectively drive sales through service delivery. When service delivery goes up, sales will go up. As a practice, you need to have regular time set aside to train everyone on the business regarding service excellence. And that's why it's important to have a standard operating procedures manual that everyone can constantly refer back to. Everyone must have a copy of it. And you have to have regular training. Whatever training that you do, make sure that the content of that is put within the manual so that even if someone forgets something, you can always refer back. And that sets the tone in the practice so that even if the current employees leave, those new employees that come and you now need to train them and equip them, they get a manual from your practice pertaining to how things should be done. And that's how you go about navigating service delivery challenges within the optometric practice.